So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is nearly here. We're pretty much a week away now, and as I always do in the lead up to any launch, today I'll be going over all of the key differences in each edition of the game so that you guys can decide which edition of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is worth buying. Now, first and foremost, for just the most basic and boring details, the game is launching on PS5 and PS5 only on February 29th, which is essentially a week from today. Now, there are also pre-order bonuses that you get regardless of which edition you buy, and that is the Moogle Trio Summoning Materia. Now, we know that the Moogles are the white fluffy fellas that have been seen with Kate Sith riding around on one, and I'd imagine this materia just allows us to spawn or summon 3 of them to help us in battle. Now, in terms of the different editions that there are, we have the Standard Edition, the Standard Twin Edition, the Digital Deluxe Edition, the Digital Deluxe Twin Edition, and then there are actually the physical editions too, so the physical Standard and the physical Deluxe editions, as well as a collector's edition too. Now, it all sounds very, very confusing. I just named like 7 different editions, but it is actually very, very simplistic. So let me simplify it for you guys. Essentially, there are only 2 editions. There are the standard editions and the deluxe editions. The twin editions that I mentioned, they just come with Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that is at the same price. For those who don't know, the remake is the prequel to this, I guess you would say. They've remade the original Final Fantasy VII into a trilogy. Final Fantasy VII Remake is part 1, Rebirth is part 2, and then whatever the next one will be will obviously be the third one. Now, like I said, the twin editions just come with the remake, so part 1 to this story at the exact same price. It doesn't cost anything else, and you get that edition of the game. So you may as well just get the twin editions unless you already have the remake. And keep in mind, the remake is actually free with PlayStation Plus anyway. So yeah, they've kind of just overcomplicated it, to be honest, but there's realistically just 2 editions of the game you guys need to know about, standard or deluxe. Now, the standard edition is very simple, as it should be. You literally just get the game, that is it. And if you pre-order, like I said, you'll get that Moogle Trio Summoning Materia too, but that is obviously just the same for pre-ordering any edition. So yeah, the standard edition is literally just the game, and this comes in at the regular price tag of $70 US or £70, or for those of you guys in Australia, I think it is about 114 on the PlayStation Store for some reason, but it would be roughly $100 in actual stores. Now, as for the deluxe edition, there are some slight differences between the digital and physical versions, so we'll just go through those for each. The price for the digital edition though is $100 US, roughly £100 if you're in the UK, or I believe it is 145 in Australia, at least again on the PlayStation Store, and it might be a little bit cheaper once again in actual stores. Now, with the digital deluxe edition, you will get a digital art book, which is obviously just going to have a bunch of concept art and character designs and stuff like that. You'll also get the digital mini soundtrack. The fact that it says mini soundtrack sort of leads me to believe it won't be every single song in the soundtrack, but it'll just be kind of the main themes. And then you will also get 3 different in-game items as well. Those items are the Reclaimant Choker, which says here that it restores a small amount of HP when an enemy is defeated, so that is definitely a very solid item. Next up is the Orchid Bracelet, which its description is kind of vague. It says a bracelet that gives courage to traverse an expanding world. Doesn't really explain what that is, so we're going to kind of have to just wait and see until the game actually launches. And then finally, we have the Magic Pot Summoning Materia. Now, from what I know, and I haven't played the original, so do correct me if I'm wrong, but the Magic Pot is actually an enemy that you can spawn in and fight if you pretty much just want to grind XP or practice movesets and stuff like that. So the Summoning Materia just allows you to spawn in, or I guess summon that enemy. Now, that was for the digital deluxe edition, obviously buying it on the store and stuff like that. But as for the physical deluxe edition, that comes with all of the same in-game items. You'll get the exact same stuff I just mentioned, but you will also get a steelbook case for the game. You'll get a hardback art book rather than the digital one, and then you'll get an actual physical CD of the mini soundtrack rather than the digital one too. So yeah, it's essentially the exact same stuff, but it's all just physical instead of it being digital, which is not always the case even with the physical editions. Sometimes with those physical editions, you will actually still get the physical edition of the game, but then you'll get like the digital art books and stuff like that. Now, finally, there is the collector's edition, which comes in at a whopping $350 US, and realistically, it is just the physical deluxe edition. So all the stuff that I just mentioned for that, the steelbook case and all that kind of thing. But you also get this awesome 19-inch Sephiroth statue as well, which looks absolutely awesome. The wing that you can see there can actually be detached as well if you guys don't want that on there. It looks absolutely insane, and this would obviously be a great addition addition to anyone's collection. So if you guys are massive Final Fantasy fans, then this is definitely something you might want to look into. Now, keep in mind, there is a good chance they've actually already sold out of this because these things tend to go like hotcakes. But for anyone that is interested, it is definitely still worth checking that out. Though, like I said, it costs $350 US, so it is quite a hefty amount of money, as you would generally expect with a collector's edition of any game. But anyway, that is pretty much it for the differences in each edition. If you're a big Final Fantasy fan, then I do think the Deluxe edition is potentially worth it. Not the most insane Deluxe edition that I've ever seen compared to a lot of other games out there. So for me, I'll probably just cop the standard edition myself, but it does still look very decent nonetheless. And like I said, if you are a huge fan of Final Fantasy, then I would say it is probably worth that extra $30 or so. With that being said, I'm keen to hear which edition you guys are going to be buying, so be sure to let me know down in the comments section. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.